really emotional for the both of us, and I don't know if she appreciated all the mascara down her face.
The 28-year-old pop singer emerges with a renewed sense of security and her first record of fresh stuff in 4 years. Dancing with the Devil, Art of Starting Over. Since revealing her devastating 2018 relapse in a documentary series, she had to reconsider all of that to create it. In today's video, we will get ourselves updated with Demi Lovato and her dark past. Be sure to smash the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell for an update whenever a new video is published. Her truth. Demi Lovato isn't afraid to do new things. The Dallas-raised singer has stated her core on multiple recordings and 3 films, voicing her experience with abuse, eating problems, and depression. As her crowd has discovered the tricks of the trade, her plot is flawed and sometimes chaotic. Lovato has a fantastic blank face and a talent for preserving the most profound bits of her secret, even though she seems to have been throwing almost all of her options on the table. Lovato has been clean for 6 years and became a good leader for fans worldwide who appreciated her honesty over her mental well-being. However, the stress of international tours and the public's view of her as a sober role model had been too much for her. She persuaded her colleagues that she can still take alcohol, but she had been using opium and meth behind their backs. She celebrates the same degree of progressive realism on the subsequent record of the documentary series called Dancing with the Devil, The Art of Starting Over. She takes fans on a 19-track journey throughout the crazy trip, which has been the past 3 years of her life. Lovato is prepared to tell people who she is now, ready to cut loose of what she's doing after her addiction, relapse, divorce, and complete transition. But she's not afraid to admit that she's got it wrong. Lovato's speech is and has been her strength. On a musical basis, she does have a 4-octave vocal ability, as well as an uncompromising consistency that allows specific notes to echo deep inside her abdomen, whereas others rise to dizzy heights. Lovato, on the other hand, has always got plenty to say whenever she performs. Yes, it's good to look beyond Lovato's and her longtime Disney celebrity's picture-perfect portrait from the late 2000s. When Lovato was dragged into the Hollywood system, she grappled with much more than anyone. Although by child star expectations, her father, by birth, battled depression and heroin abuse, and when she was a teenager, she had an eating problem. She claims in the documentary series that she lost her virginity while she was 15 years old in a sexual attack by an unknown co-star who went unpunished. She performs and sings "It's incredible what you can cover or only by putting on a smile" on her. Lovato's debut album was released in 2008. It's not that Miley Cyrus or Selena Gomez, for example, have not recorded music addressing traumatic, broken relationships and heartbreak. They've made passing mentions and subtle references to their mistakes, and they don't owe us anything. Yet Lovato isn't afraid to speak openly about her experience. Rather than her natural response was always to discover and express her suffering with the entire world. Not only to amend the story or to tell the story in her own words, but rather to comprehend it. Anyone, a sweeping confessional captured 4 days before her abuse begins Dancing with the Devil. She details her futile attempts to get healthier and crushing honesty before pleading. "Please give me someone, Lord. Is there anyone? I need someone." Throughout the track, you can recognize her anguish, a literal plea for support that went unheard. Dancing with the Devil, the album's second verse, is a grim, soulful account of Lovato's gradual decline into withdrawal. Each description rises slowly, as if it were a series of minor decisions that contributed to her overdose. She interprets enjoying a little red wine in the first section, which leads to a little white line, then eventually to a bit of a glass pipe. The record's first 4 songs work as a first act. They deal with Lovato's history in order for her to go on. She said, "Let me lead you on a tour" in the spoken monologue introduction. "The one who cuts my old skin and represents the person I am now." This is her reawakening, recognizing the trauma she has experienced and induced, but eventually a transformation towards something extraordinary and different. When she sings The Art of Starting Again, a shimmering soundtrack mainly accentuated by the singer's musical performance as she fixes the closing of her narrative, Lovato comes out of her own. Towards the end of the record, California Sober is a nod to her notorious path to rehab, where she still smokes and drinks cannabis in control. It's a controversial procedure, but it is one that Lovato has accepted wholeheartedly. Despite the inevitable criticism, her self-assurance on these records serves as a primer for the most vulnerable times of her life. The Way You Don't Look at Me is a heartbreaking song about Lovato's unhealthy lifestyle and her struggle with self-esteem. Over through the sound of rattling guitars, she confesses that she's so afraid that if she undresses, people won't love her after. It's an easy, harsh phrase spoken rather casually. Then, in the song What Other People Say, Lovato shares with Sam Fisher about remorse. The two exchanged lines to make amends to their past self for such problems they've created. Lovato struggles to create joy amid adversity. In My Girlfriends Are My Boyfriend, a chick over tracks starring musician Sweetie, she honors the buddies who were always around for her. Under a throaty, ringing voice, Lovato holds herself together and delights in self-assurance in the kind of lover I am. Singing does not matter whether you're a woman or a guy. That's the kind of lover I am. In Lonely People and Melon Cake, she shows off her grim sense of humor. The later is a lighthearted, cynical song wherein Lovato contemplates failed relationships until arriving at the absolute truth. We all die alone. But you better enjoy yourself before you leave. It's a shame there is not much of the sugar-coated punk song on the majority of Dancing with the Devil because it's a perfect match for Lovato's speech. And all the while, her song Melon Cake is a criticism to her management team that is heavily inspired by the 1980s. Lovato discussed her previous team's way of handling her substance abuse and unhealthy lifestyle was to manage any part of her life, including controlling the foods her friends consumed and not allowing any peers to visit her if they're not entirely sober in a new documentary series. She is not even permitted to also have dessert at some birthday parties. They eventually presented her with a watermelon topped with fat-free cream. Lovato reveals in her independence as she enjoys the renewed influence of her life, thanks to new managers and a renewed power of her life. For birthday parties, there will not be any melon cakes, she said. Eventually, I'm able to do it the way I want. When she sings, I'm sorry that it takes too long, she confronts her younger self once more. But you're free now, boy. Her relationship with her ex-fiancé, Max Eric, is also included on the record. The song 15 Minutes is an enraged farewell to Eric, for whom she broke up with in September of 2020. Lovato scowls and even smiles at his efforts to capitalize on their friendship. She masterfully weaves rhythm and blues vocal drives, bluesy steel guitars, vivid powerboat supporting sounds, and melodic pop songs in and out of different genres throughout the record. Even though the lyrics are tough to digest, she actually sounds easy. She also realized during her breakup with Eric that she has been way too gay to settle down with the guy at this time, regardless of whether or not there is drama. And she does not care whether it will shift in 10 years or whether that will never change, but she enjoys loving herself. Lovato has almost always acknowledged that she was a hell of a gay, and she also has finally accepted it, as she claims with unapologetic bluntness. As she, like the rest of us, awaits enough for the universe to start opening again as well as for the chance of touring, she is happy to concentrate her attention on her own well-being. She claims that if you start working on yourself, you'll notice your insight becomes more substantial and more precise. She is simply possessing, attending her own instincts, current wishes and desires, and going on. You get further away from your authentic self, the further you pretend to be what people would like you to be. Dancing with the Devil is as flawed and chaotic as the multi-talented artist who created it. It's a long record, and it's not as radio-friendly as her past efforts. That's besides the point when it sounds the most genuine. After years of self-restraint, Lovato has won the freedom to relax a bit. She shares a complete tale, beginning with Such a Cry for Assistance and ending with Lovato's arrival at a good place. She raised her old life to make room for someone's fresh, truthful, and optimistic. And if there's something Lovato, as well as the rest of us here, have won in the last year, it's a glimmer of optimism. How do you feel about the whole story of Demi Lovato? Is she really clean and ready to move forward? Will she learn her lesson and start living her life again? Let me know in the comment section down below. Before leaving, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell for our future content. With that being said, see you in the next one.